Okay, so this is my journal, so I'm going to go on talking to it. Our harassers are authorities in the United States. So what they're doing is they're going to harass us into asking them for help. You get that? These are people who are breaking the law. They're violating our civil rights right and left. And as a result, we're supposed to go to them to get help from them. Get them to stop doing this. Make sense? Okay. Not to me, it doesn't. Okay. I've taken a moment to find a few clips that I might have put in previous videos I've made where I've talked about subjects that could have used illustration by these clips, but I think I just wanted to keep the continuity of what I was saying and not interrupt myself by reaching out to these illustrations from literature. So I thought I'd take a moment and show a couple of the illustrations that I might have mentioned while I was talking along. And I recall that one of the points I was making in one of my videos was that as someone who has been declared by law to be stark raving mad, I mean, whatever the people in that so-called science might want to call somebody like me, the general public regards me just as I said, in that way. That's how the public regards somebody like me. Okay? To maintain otherwise is to be as deluded as I'm supposed to be about reality. Okay? So I was saying in one of these videos that somebody like me, a guy with a master's degree in the study of American literature, with no history, so called, of mental disease. And I know that I'm not using the terms that the folks in that so called science use because, as far as I'm concerned, their abuse of language is far worse. They're calling something help, for example, that is not help by any stretch of the imagination. So, for that reason, I feel free to to talk about things that they're doing in the ways that they really are to me, not to use their words at all. Okay, so instead of using their terminology, I use my own. And wow, I'm slipping into emotional blackout from fear of these folks and the kind of things they've done to me, man. Fear. Let me put this on pause. So, if you've seen the movie Beautiful Mind about a man who eventually won a Nobel Prize in economics, John Nash, and how he reached a point in his life where he was being treated by this, I'm going to call inquisitioner of the mental prison system. You out there would call this a psychiatrist, and um, you can see these treatments this guy's getting some kind of bizarre. It looks like shock therapy, but I don't think it was that. It was some kind of chemical therapy, and it looked horrific in the movie. I think they actually did that to the actor. That's what it looks like.
How often? 5 times a week for 10 weeks.
That, as a method actor, he said, "Okay, I'll take the treatment that John Nash took. I'll do that." I didn't research this, but it looks like that's what happened. And my God, what they were doing to this guy. So he gets to a point in his development where it looks like he may be relapsing into illness. Okay. And so his wife is saying she's considering having him go back to this mental inquisitioner for further help. Oh, God. So there's a very dramatic moment in the movie where she changes her mind. She says, "Look, I'm not going to send you back." She realizes, man, that what they were doing to her husband just was, this is help. She herself decided, I don't want this for him. She said, "I'm not going to send you back to those folks." This is a very dramatic moment in the movie. Now, I was saying that somebody like me, declared to be full out crazy the way I'm supposed to be, and these are incurable illnesses. So I was declared to be full out crazy 40 years ago. I still have the disease. It's incurable. Okay. And the public has been educated this way, man. And oh, God, I'm scared to even talk this way. I'm like a fugitive. I've been trying to escape from this thing for the moment I was put into it. So I'm afraid even to talk now. But now I'm forgetting what I was going to say. I was going to say that, like, somebody like me, I got a master's degree in American literature. I'm the son of a doctor. I grew up in Richmond, Bethesda, Maryland. I went to a school like Landon School and so on. I was a very successful person in my way, and now I've been declared to be certified, which, as I'm saying, it doesn't happen to anybody. Okay? No matter how crazy. Okay? And I'm not going to use examples now because I can feel myself coming under close scrutiny by enemies out there who are going to argue with every point I got to make. And let me just say, let me go on with the point from my point of view that I got to say, I'm a very unusual case to be certified the way I am. And I've done, in terms of this certification, I've done the impossible. Okay. I'm married, had a son. I was never in debt. I paid for my son's education all the way through college, no loans. Uh, I'm going into emotional blackout now. I had more to say. Let me think. I've never been back in a mental prison since I was originally imprisoned on completely false charges. So, of course, I didn't go back in. So they're going to say, "Oh, he was never back in a mental Oh, we've done great with him, haven't we? You've done great with me." So I'm not going to say more about my escape because it's ongoing, but um, I worked at a highly responsible job that I taught myself to do on the job. I would say most so called normal people, even well educated, could not have done what I did. Okay. And somebody's going to think, oh, he had this lots and lots of counseling and was talking to his favorite therapist. None of this happened. No, I did these things on my own. There wasn't any help of that kind. And I retired from that job. Even people who have no mental disease sometimes sometimes get fired when they're coming down the stretch to retirement. I saw it happen to a couple of people. These are highly responsible people with responsible jobs. They get fired coming down the stretch to retirement. I made it. And I'm Fruit Loop crazy, okay? So I work a job that I have no background in and no interest in. And I'm one of the best workers there, okay? And they'll tell you that. And let me say, I'm not criticizing this place in any way. Okay, I get a note on my phone. Phone storage is full. I got to stop with this phone, start another. Okay, let me continue. Let me say it, and I want to be absolutely clear on this point. I am not criticizing the place I worked to get the retirement I'm in. I am not criticizing that place of work at all. I am not. I very highly value that place and the chance it gave me. It gave me the chance to work this job that I had no background in, and it accepted me. So I have no criticisms of this place. I have only praise. I don't mention the name because my experience is that brings trouble. When you're somebody like me, you don't want to name names ever. Okay, so now that I made that point, let me go on saying that I retired successfully. And then I paid our son's education through college, no loans, in cash in full, and in addition, bought 8 acres of land in cash in full in Colorado. Now, I don't mean to be bragging. I'm the last one to brag, but I got to say these things about myself. I have to. Now, somebody's going to say, I'm a rich man. I did all this on the amount of money that a person gets as a middle class worker. And I've said in other videos that my wife and I never ate at a restaurant once. I'm trying to think. If we did ever eat when somebody gave us a gift certificate to eat there, and that happened like one time. We didn't eat at restaurants. We just don't. Our restaurant is McDonald's. I like McDonald's. I'm not criticizing it, but that's our restaurant. If we're going to go out to eat, we go out to eat McDonald's, and that's going out to eat for us. We never went out to eat. We didn't go out to any cultural events. That means plays, concerts, symphonies, what have you, okay? The tickets for events like that are very expensive, and we also went to no sporting events. Those were expensive as well. Occasionally, we took our son. Now, when it came to our son, that's when we spent our money, okay? If he wanted to go to a soccer game, we arranged to go, okay? But that wasn't often. Now, we ourselves never, professional sports, college sports, any sports where you had to pay money to get in, never. So we didn't go anywhere that it cost money to go. And, my clothes, everything I'm wearing now, well, this is Goodwill. This is Walmart. And I love Walmart, by the way. Pants are a recent purchase from Macy's on sale, but that's recently. Our son has been gone now for quite some time. He's out in the world. We're still helping him, but back then it was my clothes all from Goodwill and Value Village. And I would buy my wife some nice things, but my wife, okay, she'll just to this day, you know what she usually wears? Our son's clothes that he wore when he was like in middle school. That's what she wears. You can't buy anything for her. I tried to buy her some perfume. She returned it to the store. She spends nothing on herself. It's almost impossible to get her anything. So we've lived this way, and that's how we made these payments. His school that he went to had financial aid. Then when he started college, he had a scholarship, uh, effectively, where the college was paying like half of what we needed to pay to send him. And then he went to a university in another state, but it was a state where my ancestors are from. So I went out there to live, and I claimed in-state tuition, and also I was able to pay it. And that's the way it's gone. So, but I did all these things. Okay. I moved all of our possessions out of our house. This house right here, it's got possessions again. All these possessions are from Goodwill. This couch, Salvation Army. Those TVs, Goodwill. Well, the one over there from Sorensen. I can't believe I couldn't remember that. That was given to us for free by Sorensen, which is a company that helps deaf people. This couch, Goodwill. That exercise machine, Goodwill, the Value Village. The desk, Goodwill. This year we bought for our son's benefit. This was bought from a furniture store, so this was a legitimate purchase, if you will. But anyway, everything we have is from Good. We got a house full of Goodwill furniture, but we had a house like that, and me and my wife in 2018. This is 2026. The two of us moved the entire contents of this house ourselves from here in from Silver Spring, Maryland, to Colorado in one of those giant, the biggest truck that a person can rent without a special permit, a professional truck driver's license. It's a huge truck. I forget how many feet, like 35 feet. It's gigantic. And I drove that without issue. That was not easy. And somebody who's Fruit Loop crazy is gonna load that truck correctly so that everything is balanced in there, and then drive it across the country without issue. There were very complicated matters related to that truck, especially the overhangs that you go through as you're driving along the highway. Overhangs. You're going to be driving down a highway, and there's a bridge, like a railroad bridge, or just another road, and it's going over the highway you're on, and you look over to the right, and it says clearance is whatever it is, and you know that your truck has to have at least like 14 and a half feet to get under there. So you're going to drive along. You can't go through all of those. And you got to make judgments, or you're going to have a crash. And I did that. Sometimes I had to stop. One time I had to stop in rush hour traffic with cars all around mine. I'm in a strange city, and I'm a Fruit Loop crazy, right? Can't take pressure, can't make good judgments. And I'm driving up to this overpass. It's like a tunnel in the city, somewhere in the west. And I'm looking and I'm thinking, wait a minute, I don't think I have enough room. There's no sign saying what the clearance is. So I crept up to that thing and I stopped. I got out of the truck and I climbed up on the cab and I looked to see, am I going to be able to get under here? And I said, no, I'm not. So what did I have to do? I got a deaf wife who's following me in another car, our Honda. And there's traffic piled up behind me and on the other side too. And I tell my wife, you got to direct traffic. We got to back up. I got like a 35-foot truck. We got to back up. I had to back that truck up in all that traffic with my wife deaf, directing people, go this way, no, go that way. Oh my God. I backed that truck up like 2 blocks. I'm no professional driver. And in all that pressure, I did that. I'm Fruit Loop crazy, and I've been doing things like that. Okay? Let's revisit me training myself to be a financial Analyst. I'm going to train myself to be a financial analyst on the job. I have no experience and I don't even know what a liability is. And they leave me in an office by myself and they say, okay, we want a 6-page report in however many days they said. We want it to have grass and tables. Here's an example. Good luck. I don't even know what a liability is and an asset is. I know nothing. And I did that. I successfully did it. So I'm Fruit Loop crazy. I do things like this. I have a therapist in there showing me how to do these things. I had a therapist there telling me, Albert, stop. Don't go under that bridge because you're embarrassed to stop in all this traffic. And it's going to be a mess when you got to turn back. No, I stopped. There's no therapist to call, or I didn't have one. I didn't have one at all. But my escape, by then I'd gotten away from folks like that. So I don't want their help, and I don't want it now, and I don't want it ever. So I'm Fruit Loop crazy, and I'm doing all these things. Now, so I'm saying I have a few examples from literature that show how I'm regarded by folks in that business when they hear this guy is certified, because that does not happen. Even folks in the mental state prisons are not certified like that. If you're certified like that, you are as crazy as they get, and you're dangerous and you're scary. So, look around and listen. Listen to this. This is my world, uninterrupted for over 40 years. Complete solitary confinement. Okay, so I want to show what it's been like to be me. And I said before that it's like I'm that character Frankenstein in that comedy, Young Frankenstein. When Dr. Frankenstein, he says, I'm going to show you Frankenstein here. Now, don't be afraid. Okay, so that's me. Here's a certified schizophrenic with a master's degree. He did this, he did that. Don't be afraid. I'm going to show it to you. He's real. Draw back the curtains. Here he is. That's me. So I didn't put this in a recording. I've made this kind of recording multiple times, and I never did include this reference to literature in what I was recording. So I'm going to do that now just because, I don't know, I feel that it's okay to do that now. So I want to. So here is how I'm regarded. Like I say, here's that way that the professionals in that business itself regard me. When they hear, what, he's certified? Wait a minute. We can't get these people the help they need. The laws protect them. No, we don't believe it. And the guy's going to say, wait a minute. No, I have one here. Draw back the curtains.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present, for your intellectual and philosophical pleasure, the creature. Please. Remain in your seats, I beg you. We are not children here. We are scientists. I assure you there is nothing to fear.
Is that you, Chris? We want justice.